gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded. It is fun. I am your host, Eric, with my main man, Ron, over there. How are you tonight?
Did you almost forget your name or something?
I'm so pumped up about tonight's show that I think I might have popped something. I don't know. I am psyched, man. I am ready and excited and love talking sports. If you are joining us live, please chime in, chat, use the chat box features so that we can hear all of the wonderful things that you want to talk about here on Sports Unfolded tonight. We are on many social media platforms, from audio to video. We are also on every Saturday, 1 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 in Dallas, Georgia. If you're listening to us this Saturday, check us out every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in Southeast Connecticut, join us, public access, Channel 12, every Tuesday, 10 p.m. You can always hop on by on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. And, let us know what you think of the show. You can also support us and sponsor us so many different ways to donate bits, stars, buy us a coffee. We'll talk about sponsorship later on in the show. But, Ron, we got to start off with a big leadoff story that happened this morning. Scotty Scheffler, he was arrested after attempting to get into the PGA Championship this morning. Your thoughts on what happened? Obviously, we got to talk about the tragedy that caused that backup. Unfortunately, there was a vendor who was there that got hit by a bus that tragically passed away from that accident, which caused a massive backup from traffic. And it looks like there's been some confusion where who let who by and what happened. But I don't know what you've read, but let's talk a little bit about this story because it's kind of big right now.
Yeah, and look, I have my suspicions on what he actually did as opposed to what it comes out. Look, he was trying to get around the traffic, so he passes probably. I don't know if it was on the right side or on the left side. Doesn't really matter. You weren't supposed to do it, right? So my guess is that he came up to a certain point in that traffic and the cop stopped him. Now, he might have gotten a little upset. And when it comes to the assault, he's saying he didn't assault him. But see, there's a fine line with what assault is.
Well,
assault isn't actually hitting somebody.
When you drag somebody that's holding onto the vehicle, that can be considered assault.
Right.
What happened in this case.
Right. So doing that is not really the wisest of things to do. Now, I don't know about you, but my opinion of golf, it isn't so much the Happy Gilmore kind of thing, but it is the Shooter McGavin kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, these are all people that have probably been rich before they were golfers. I'm just saying, it's like look, if that was daily, you think he would have been able to play that day?
So, yeah, there's some things that, again, you get arrested, you're out back in at 10 a.m.
Right.
So I found that to be a little bit of a, what court systems open,
right.
First of all, most of them open at 9.
Yep.
So how he got, here's where I have I don't know if I blame him in some aspects, because a lot of other golfers, they have like certain I guess, decal and things that they are PGA members. And a lot of other golfers said they were able to get through.
Right.
Why he wasn't able to, or this police officer didn't allow him to, or what happened there, I don't know if that caused some of his aggravation. I'm not saying he's right, but I'm not saying he's wrong either, because the PGA has very strict rules. If you're late, if you don't show up in some of the things, and they were letting and allowing some of the media to go through that had credentials. They were allowing golfers to go through, but somehow this situation, he wasn't allowed to go through.
Because it was probably a butthole, right? I mean, when you think about it, that's probably what it was.
I mean, it didn't seem to be remorse when he got there, because I guess they said, he pretty much got into the clubhouse, said, "Hey, guys, I'm here," and started eating breakfast. So I don't think there was a remorse from that standpoint. He did put out a statement afterwards, and again, discussing that, unfortunately, was a tragedy, and at least he gave his condolences there. But I still feel like, to your point, how did he get out so quick and was able to play and make his tee time is pretty remarkable. And I'm sure he's got very good attorneys, multimillionaires. But again, I don't see how the court system got him in and out in 4 hours.
Yeah, look, I mean, when you got money, things can move faster, right? And the problem, though, with all of this is still, why did he have the problem and nobody else did, right? Everybody else made it on time, So what was the problem? And, I mean, to me, it's got to be the attitude on his part. Like, let's not worry about the guy that passed away. Let's get me to what I need to do, because I'm Scotty Scheffler. I'm the number one player in the world, so I need to be where I need to be.
Agreed. Yeah, he's being charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic. So I think that's what happened. He probably tried to go, and the cop's like, "Hey, you got to go the other way." And he was like, "Screw that. I'm going the way I want to go." And then decides he's going to drag the cop, and kind of, eventually he decides to stop, but even was refusing to get out of the car initially. Like, there's just certain things in this story that you could see how the officer may have been a little wrong, but you could also see how Scotty Scheffler was also incorrect in his behavior and how he handled it.
Yeah, look, if they let other golfers through and other media through, come on, you can't tell me that the cop had a problem unless provoked. To me, he probably said something to the cop, and the cop didn't like it, and then gave him a hard time after that, and probably rightfully so. I mean, this world could use a little niceness in them. They can't all lose their Christmas cards,
What's amazing to you, you pointed it out, number one golfer in the world.
Yeah.
So I think at some point the PGA was going to find a way to make sure he was able to tee off today. Like, it was going to happen. Right. It wasn't a thing of, I think one of those rules or exceptions would have come into play, and it would have been, hey,
This is why I compared her to Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. This is why. Because he's that guy.
I heard it's Happy Gilmore 2, by the way. I heard going to be on Netflix.
Oh, I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
That one's going to be pretty exciting. Believe it or not, Ron, he shot a 6 under today.
Yeah.
So he's tied for third at 9 under for the tournament, for the championship.
Yeah. So now he's going to have to get arrested every morning.
Isn't that pretty crazy, though? You think about it. Like, you go through that, you're booked. You know what I mean? You're handcuffed, booked, have to go to court, and then, come back, shoot a 6 under. I mean, he is the best golfer in the world.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up suing the cop because he hurt his wrist.
he may, right? Like, I mean, if anybody's out there live and you have an opinion, let us know what you think about this situation with Scotty Scheffler, because it's one of those rare situations you don't hear happen too much. Somebody gets in a car accident or something, but have to witness it. You got to physically see him getting arrested, getting put into a squad car, understanding the situation, and then saying, "Wow," and he's back on the course. What, 4 hours later? 4 hours later, he was back on the course and he shoots a 6-under.
Yeah, like 10 o'clock.
Which is insane. Which is insane to think about.
I mean, when you think about all of these things, like if you're in the NHL, I can guarantee you ain't playing. You're not playing.
Yeah, just from a publicity. How does this look for the PGA?
Yeah.
Like, even for them, we talk about this all the time with all these athletes and suspensions and things we think should happen. And here you go with a situation where it happened that morning. It wasn't like, hey, last night he got busted, something happened, and
right,
we're working through details. Like, you didn't even have enough time to work through details. Hasn't been enough time that went by.
It's just astonishing how he was able to get out and actually participate. I mean, he's the number one, so they want him in there, and they did. They made sure he got in there. And I don't know. I don't think that's right. I think he should have suffered the consequences and not been allowed to play. I think he should have been
regardless until all the facts, right? Yeah, until all the facts come out and then the investigation goes through. I 100% agree with you. But they weren't going to give up their number one golfer.
Nope.
And this is the PGA just making an exception. And then you wonder why behavior happens the way it happens sometimes in the sports world.
So Shooter got his way and he got to play.
You love this Happy Gilmore reference. We don't talk a lot of golf.
As soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh my God, is he Shooter McGavin or what?" And
it's a good mugshot. I will give him that.
It's I did put it there. And
it's right down there on the bottom.
See his little mugshot. See, when he's golfing, he's all nice and happy. And look at the smug look on his face in the mugshot. Like, he just knew he was getting out in time.
So I'm going to ask you this, Ron. So you think it was his fault?
Oh, I absolutely 100% think it was his fault.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
100%. I think this is just the arrogance of a guy that gets his way because he's got a lot of money. And he thought he was above,
So you don't think he said, "Hey, I'm in the PGA. Look at my credentials. Look at it. My car has the magnet or whatever it is."
Oh, I'm sure he did that, but he probably didn't do it the right way at the start. That's the problem.
Yeah, and it's going to be a problem. One side to the other. I think Jeff Darlington from ESPN. He's the one that got the video because he was there.
Yeah,
when it happened, and it's kind of crazy because you could hear him trying to get like some information. The cops are telling them to back off and get away, and it was just, I don't know, probably a chaotic scene. Raining, early morning, it's dark. They're trying to figure out this, and again, what gets lost in this whole thing, which is sad, right? Somebody lost their life.
Yeah.
And we're kind of talking about, a guy shooting 6-under, after being arrested.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
We'll continue to follow this story as it grows, because I'm sure there'll be more that comes out.
We are here every week, and we always have,
something to talk about, right? Kenny, thanks for joining us.
It's
just what an odd story, like something you don't think you'd hear or be talking about ever. So we cover it all from any sport out there. So golf's no different. It's going to be interesting to see how and what happens afterwards. I'm sure he'll pay some fines, and it'll be a slap on the wrist. But I digress. We go on to the NFL. We're going to talk some National Football League, Ron. And the National Football League released their schedule this week. Any games of interest, things you saw that you noticed that you found to be either odd, exciting, something the fans should look for?
Oh, yeah. I have my notes. I've got about 11 games that I'm looking at throughout the course of the year. There's a lot of games. So, But right off week one,
17 per team, Ron.
yeah. So week one, I'm looking at that Ravens Chiefs games.
Right. To me,
That,
early AFC championship preview like that, you could say
yeah,
are the two best teams in the AFC. And we're going to have some conversations after that one to say who's the one that's the front runner to take the
right,
AFC. So, yeah, I thought that was a very interesting one.
right. And look, I mean, how is Lamar Jackson going to perform after that loss? Right? I mean,
In the playoffs, right? The way he performed in the playoffs versus Kansas City last
yeah,
season.
and is Baltimore going to be that team that gives the Chiefs the toughest time in the AFC? So I mean, we've had, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati, Cleveland. There's a lot of teams that are contenders, right? But who is really going to be the contender? So I like, certain games, Bills and Dolphins, first one. See if they're ready to keep going in that division.
A lot of transition with the Buffalo Bills, right? Lost a lot of
Right.
players defensively, offensive side of the ball. Is
Yep.
this Miami's chance to kind of take
Right.
over the
So
AFC East? Yeah,
that's going to be a look to see if the Bills are still a contender, really.
agreed.
And that same week in week two, it's Cincy and KC.
Yeah, right. Joe
So
Burrow
is
healthy.
Joe Burrow even going to be ready by week two? And is he going to be able to, bring that team back into the playoff picture?
Yeah,
So there's a lot of questions there as well. So more of the games that I'm looking at are more, questions on whether these teams are going to be still up there, because usually there's always some new teams that jump into the mix.
yeah. A
And then
lot of
there's some
parity in
teams
the
that
NFL,
leave.
right? We talk about parity in the NFL. That's one of the things
Yeah.
they really pride themselves on. First to last, like it happens a lot in the NFL. Or
Yeah.
last
And
to
then
first,
and,
or
and
first to last. It could go either way.
yeah, a game that I spotted week 10. The battle for last place. Pats at Bears. Pats.
I think the Bears might be pretty good this year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
They picked up a lot of talent. Obviously,
They
you got to
did.
tune in, and usually August, September we do our NFL
Yep.
preview show, and we'll talk more about that then. But
Yep.
I don't think they'll be
Well,
as
look
bad.
at that one.
I would say New England will be.
Who got the better quarterback?
Who gets the number one draft pick? That could help New England at some point. Yeah, that's
Right. Right. So, I mean, other games I looked at Lions at Cowboys in week 6.
That's a good one.
See if the Lions are ready.
Yeah. Look, this looks like they're
And
getting
see if
NFC
Dallas is still
right.
put together.
Did they learn from last year, the Lions? And listen, I think most people are going to say Kenny got it right a couple years ago. Like this is the team now.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions are the cream of the crop. They're probably the second best team in the NFC.
Yeah, possibly. Week 7, Chiefs at San Francisco, the rematch.
Nice, very good one.
Let's see if let's see how they handle it. You want to see improvement, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if San Francisco can really get any better. Let me see. What else was there? Houston at Dallas, week 11. Going to be a test for Houston.
A lot of high hopes for Houston, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. And then also week 16, Houston at Kansas City. So we're going to know what's going on with Houston, this year. They have a couple of big games and no bigger one than that.
Yeah.
That's how you know, right? If you can beat Kansas City in Arrowhead, then you're a contender. You're a contender. And then week 18, Cleveland at Baltimore. rounding out the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's a game that could mean something. And will they play their regular starters like quarterbacks and stuff like that? So if it means something, there could be something on the line there. And that's what I'm hoping. And hopefully that would be a great game to end the regular season.
Yeah. So I looked at things a little differently. I didn't look at so much the games as some of the odd quirks in the schedule. I did notice I did have, again, early AFC Championship preview when you talk about the Ravens Chiefs. Friday night, though. So we open on a Thursday. Friday night, you have a game in Brazil.
Yeah.
Which is very different. So again, the NFL trying to take over wherever they can. Green Bay at Philadelphia.
Yeah.
6.
Well, I got some news for them. They're not taking over the Sports Unfolded show. We're still going to be number 1 in the ratings.
We will be. Always are. 6 of the first 11 weeks, the New York Jets will be on prime time. And if you look at the Aaron Rodgers effect, I mean, if he blows out his Achilles again week 1, they're going to have some problems and they're going to be moving some games, but they don't normally move the games, I think, till week 8 or 9 is the first time they can move games. So you may be stuck watching the New York Jets team without Aaron Rodgers if he gets hurt.
No, I won't do that.
The schedule is do not like the Bears or the Steelers. 6 of their last 8 games are the division games. They don't have division games until the last 8 weeks of the season. So you talk about cramp. So they could be in really good shape in the division and then have to face your division and basically fall apart.
Right.
I've never seen that before.
Look, how many times do we count out Pittsburgh, right? I don't count them out. I don't care. I'm not counting them out.
But think about it. Even the Bears, again, you probably got a weaker schedule based on your record last year, but then you got to play Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota is, well, who knows? But again, all at the end of the year. So you might be in good shape and then all of a sudden lose 5 of your last 6 games because it's all in your division. And now, you know what I mean? You're out of the race. So I thought that was interesting. And then one more thing that we've talked about, and I'm fearing it because I can see it continuously happening in the NFL, that we're going to end up paying for games or to watch Netflix games. So Netflix now will have a Christmas game. So if you don't have Netflix, you got to pay for it.
Eric, I've been saying this for years, and it's only a matter of time before you have to pay for every single game.
Think about it. You don't think Amazon or Netflix will want the Super Bowl at some point?
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to be coming sooner than what you think, probably next season.
Think about what Netflix is doing, the Tyson thing.
Yep.
Amazon Prime had the Indiana Fever on. I watched that last night. So again, all these things that they're trying to do because people are paying for it.
Yeah.
So if you're a Patriot fan and they're saying the only way you could watch it is on Netflix or Prime, you don't think there's going to be people out there just buying those streaming services? Yep. The NFL's going to make money off of that. I'm sure they profit some way or another.
Oh, they're going to profit. They're going to keep at making money in every way possible. They just inching their way forward. Look, putting it on Amazon was the first step. They know they're getting a boatload of money from Amazon for it. Now Netflix has jumped in for a couple of games. Now watch. It's going to be a point where you're not going to see it on the broadcast channels, and it's all going to be pay-per-view. You watch. I'm telling you, people, and you're letting it happen. It is your fault.
Wow.
Your fault.
Did you see this too? The NBA with TNT now probably losing the NBA and NBC $2.5 billion they bid to get basketball back on NBC. These companies, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. All right, Ron, great discussion here.
And who pays for it? The fans. The fans always pay for it.
What do you think, buddy? What do you think? All right, my friend, we're going to do our starting 5. Our starting 5, this is episode 20 of season 4, Jailhouse Rock. So we decided to have a little fun with our starting 5, and these quarterbacks that we had to choose from to be in our starting 5, had to have at least thrown 20 touchdown passes in their career in the playoffs. So there was about 20 there was about 25 quarterbacks we had to choose from. Obviously, we narrowed it down to our starting 5. Who would be those 5 quarterbacks that would start for our team? Ron, you are first this week, so please let me know who your honorable mentions were.
All right, this is there's a lot of good quarterbacks on this list.
Yeah, I'm going to blow your mind with this because I did this a little differently too, I think.
I think I did too. So right at the edge of that totem pole, I have Ben Roethlisberger. He did make my list.
Okay. It's an honorable mention. Yep.
Honorable mention. Drew Brees was right above him. Then I had Aaron Rodgers as an honorable mention. And then I had Brett Favre as an honorable mention. And my last honorable mention, Roger Staubach.
So Roger Staubach, I had in my honorable mentions. And here's where I'm going to blow your mind. You ready, Ron? You sitting down?
I hope so. If I'm not sitting down, I got problems.
You got shorter real fast. Honorable mention, Joe Flacco, Kurt Warner, and John Elway. Those were my honorable mentions, along with Roger Staubach. And I'm gonna explain to you why and how. And I know our lists are gonna be completely different, other than one, I'm sure, quarterback for sure. All I took was their playoff numbers.
That's pretty much what I did.
Okay.
With some exceptions.
So that's why I'm a little surprised at some of yours. Because I looked at the win-loss record. Some of those guys that you've put on there, were 500. Like Dan Marino, I could not put on the list. As great as Dan Marino is, 8-10 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there were certain guys that.
So basically, I kind of did the same thing. But it was really my top 6. Now, I left Troy Aikman off that list because I didn't like his regular season numbers as much. Guys, money in the playoffs.
That's why I see. All mine are playoff numbers only. Stop playing, Eric. I'm being honest with you, Kenny. I'm telling you, watch. If you look at it, Peyton Manning, 14-13 in the playoffs. He's a great quarterback, great regular season, all the numbers he did. He's won 1 game more than he played in the playoffs. So out of 27 games, he won 14. That's not impressive to me. And I looked at some of the guys.
These guys were a little tough.
All right, so let's get this thing going. Who do you have at 5?
Number 5, I actually have John Elway. I put him in. That playoff record, 14-7,
very good,
was phenomenal. Not to mention the 9 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowls, an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP. Look, I mean, he didn't have the best touchdown to interception ratio, but this guy knew how to win. He knew how to win.
And think about this, though, Ron. Even with John Elway, right? He lost his first 3.
Yeah.
It's something like that. And then he won the last 2.
Yep.
I kind of held that against him. I went at 5 Troy Aikman. And I went 11-4, so 7 games over 500, which is equal to John Elway. But then 23 touchdowns versus Elway. Well, Elway had 27, but 1 extra championship.
Yeah.
So I went with the 3 championships because Aikman, he got there, he didn't lose.
Funny because when we did some quarterbacks before, and I had Aikman in there, it was with a different group of players. I believe Manning was still in there, and I thought somebody else was. I think it was Aaron Rodgers, and I had him behind those 2, and I kept him behind those 2 because of, basically the numbers aren't there, and he had a great team.
Aaron Rodgers 11-10 in his playoffs.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's not awful. Good at all. But all right, at 4, who do you have at 4?
At 4, Who do I have it for? I do have Peyton Manning. And the reason why I put him in here, despite that 14-13 playoff record, was because there was one guy that stopped him constantly.
Yeah,
And that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt, because being a quarterback and you're losing to Tom Brady all the time, that could be a reason enough to have a poor record. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I put him at number 4 because his numbers are stellar. His numbers are great.
Yeah, very good numbers. One game over 500 wasn't going to do it. So at 4 for me, 9 games over 500. That's Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
14-5, 30 touchdowns in his playoff career, 4 championships. I really, the records matter to me.
His numbers were too bad for me to put him in this.
3,833 yards passing, 30 touchdowns. I'll take it. And I'm going to take a guy that's going to win in the playoffs 9 times.
Yeah, but he might not get you there.
14-5. He won it 4 times. He won it more than Peyton did. Peyton didn't get there enough.
I understand that, but his numbers weren't good enough.
Yeah, 4 championships.
Late in the playoffs, though.
Number 3.
Number 3, I actually have Patrick Mahomes. I put him in because what he's doing right now, he's making a case now for what? Top 3 all time? He's got 3 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
3 Super Bowls at this age, and 15-3 in the playoffs.
Kennedy.
It is crazy numbers. His yards per attempt are better than anybody on this list. Anyone. And yards per attempt, that's no big deal. But it's 7.9 yards per attempt. He's chucking the ball. He's making things happen. He's got a 74-22 record at this point in his career. Those are great numbers to look at. I have Patrick Mahomes.
At 3 for me, Joe Montana. 16-7, 9 games over 500, 5,772 yards passing, 45 touchdowns, 4 championships. Joe Montana, again, records matter to me in the playoffs. I don't care what you did in the regular season. If I'm starting 5 and I'm talking about playoffs, Joe Montana, my number 3.
Yeah. I have Joe Montana number 2, which you probably have Mahomes at number 2.
I do.
And the only reason why I have Montana ahead of Mahomes is because Mahomes is young. And I know it makes no sense.
No.
I just figure, let's see if he can get that 4th. He gets that 4th. You have the number 2 all time.
And this is why I put, so again, I told you mattered 12 games over 500.
Yeah.
And also, if you think about this, so 18 times he's been in the playoffs. Yeah. 15 of those 18 times. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
That is pretty darn good.
Yeah. And look, that was the toughest battle right there for me, Montana and Mahomes. And I'm just like, all right, I'm going to give it to Montana for now. Wait till next year.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
You know what? If you think about it, if he wins 2 out of every 3 playoff games, I mean, his record's still going to be ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous. I'm kind of curious. Who's at number 1? I mean, is there a
TB12? Of course. There's no doubt right now.
22 games over 500. That's pretty.
I mean, the man has 35 playoff wins.
35. It's insane.
7 Super Bowl. Okay, so it takes Mahomes and Montana to match the Super Bowls.
They don't even have enough wins. That'd be 31. Between the two of them, they only had 31 playoff wins. Tom still had 4 more than that.
Right, see? I mean, come on. There's nobody better.
13,400 passing yards, too, is ridiculous. 88 touchdowns. 88. People better hope he doesn't come back. Because, I mean, if the man can put out, I mean, he's going to have over 100 touchdowns just in the playoffs. TB12. Did you watch the roast yet?
I have not watched the roast
Oh
yet.
my goodness, you got to watch the roast. It's hilarious. It was so good. It was so good. But that was quarterback. You think about it though, right? There was a lot of good names in there, and you don't include
I
them.
left off a lot of names.
Yeah, Steve Young, I left off. He only 14
Yeah.
playoff games in his career
Yeah.
because he sat behind Joe Montana all those years. 8-6 in his playoffs.
Yeah. He wasn't
Looked at
some of those guys aren't even eligible.
Russell Wilson, Donovan McNabb. We kept thinking Donovan McNabb, those Eagle teams, like how great they were. He was 9-7 overall. 9-7. Like, so you look at some of those guys and you kind of question it. Believe it or not, Josh Allen's already thrown over 20 touchdowns in his career.
Yeah, I
in the
saw
playoffs,
that,
which
but I
was kinda
wasn't ready to
crazy.
put him up there. No Super Bowls.
And poor Jim Kelly.
Didn't have a Super Bowl, wasn't getting anything.
Jim Kelly, 9-8 in
Yeah.
the playoffs. Poor Jim Kelly. One of the Matt Ryan too was in there. 4-6 though in his career
Yeah.
in the
terrible.
playoffs. I was not gonna
It's
put
that
him in.
one big loss.
That's our starting five.
Sorry, Atlanta.
That was fun. Yeah, there we go. Let's lose that market now, Ron. Great job. If you are listening, WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia. We appreciate the support. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, MeWe. So many different platforms that you can follow us on. You can watch us on all the social media platforms as well. And you can listen to us on all the audio platforms that you listen to all your podcasts. We are on everything, everywhere. So, join in. Let us know. And if you're joining us live, like our man Kenny, thank you so much for that. You can join the show, chat in.
Yeah,
Let
throw
us
some
know.
comments. Who would you have in your top 5? Who would
Be
you
crazy.
have?
Do you agree with Ben Roethlisberger, 13-10 overall? Ron had him as an honorable mention. I don't know.
Honorable mention. He had 2 Super Bowls.
Three games over 500. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, but it's like you're in Pittsburgh and they don't sign anybody.
And he's just a scumbag.
He is.
Did you hear about the Stormy Daniels with the trial? I know we don't talk politics, but I guess there's a story about her and Ben Roethlisberger that came out during the trial.
Yeah, no.
He tried to make advances on her. She said no, and like this is while he was still going through all that rape stuff. Like the guy's just a scumbag. No offense, Ben. I mean, you want to come join the show? We'll talk and we'll tell you how we feel about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some NBA, Ron.
Winning fans everywhere.
Oh yeah, we're just can you not tell? You just lost our whole Atlanta market. Great job.
We gotta say it like it is.
Say it like it is, my friend. We're gonna talk some NBA playoffs. So
playoffs.
The question would be, Ron, out of the playoffs that are remaining, and not the quarterbacks that are remaining on the screen.
Yeah, you gotta give me.
There we go. I'm just making sure. I don't want to confuse people. Those that are watching live. What series interests you the most? So there's 3 series still going on, right? New York, Indiana. You got Dallas and OKC, and you got Minnesota and Denver.
Well, I mean, you got that Minnesota and Denver game that's 3-3 in the series right now. That is
Game 7.
That is
Sunday
right there. I remember last year I had Minnesota in my top 4 just a year too early, right? I thought that team should have been better last year, but I guess it took them a little while to really gel as a team. But this year, they've been amazing. And they're giving the defending champions a run right now. And it's 3-3. Denver could go home.
Yeah, and I think that's my most interesting series as well. But it's weird because neither team wants to take control. Like Minnesota looked so dominant the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Then Denver goes on this 3-game run where they just look like, okay, figured it out, unbeatable.
Yep.
And then they go in game 6 and lose by 45.
Yeah, go figure, right?
I don't understand it. Like, I'm just trying. So you go into game 7 going, I don't know what I'm going to see. Is it going to be a Denver team that is the world champions that step up? Is it going to see this Minnesota team that shows that they can blow you out at any given time if they really focus?
Yeah.
Because these games have not been close in this series.
No, and this was why I kind of lean towards Denver in this situation because they did it last year, right? So you would think that it would
in
be
Denver,
them.
right? It's in Denver, less pressure on them.
Right. But then you kind of look at it, it's like, well, they didn't really have a tough time beating anybody last year.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people are questioning.
They're in a battle right now,
And Ron,
Minnesota might be more ready.
we just said it, right? It's in Denver. You're like, oh, that should be easy. They lost their first 2 games in Denver.
Right.
And they didn't play well at all. So it's not like home court advantage. Like there's so many things going on here in this series. And then Anthony Edwards versus Nikolai Jokic, which guy is going to be the one to carry his team? That series is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Game 6 tonight with the Knicks. I mean, Jalen Brunson to me has shown me that he is a legitimate superstar. Like I'm seeing things out of Jalen Brunson that I didn't expect.
He's really put the team on his shoulders, and he's doing some heavy lifting.
And you think about it, all the injuries, everything that's going on in New York, that's a fun series as well. I thought Indiana figured it out, and now you're seeing, look, they lost game 5. It's in Indiana tonight. We'll see how that goes. So that's a fun series. Dallas, I think, takes control of this OKC series. It looks like they're more in control now.
Yeah, they're going to be at home. They're up a game, and I think they get it done and they finish it off. And
your boy Luka gets into the Western Conference
in.
Finals.
Yeah.
I know you're excited about that if that happens. But I gotta say,
it's kind of a bittersweet thing because then you have Kyrie and the others as his teammate. So I'm not really a Kyrie fan. But
Kyrie's
I like
up,
Luka more than I dislike Kyrie. Like I think just Kyrie is kind of,
he's Kyrie.
He's Kyrie.
He's Kyrie. So we both agree. Denver, Minnesota, probably the series that I think most people are really looking for. Obviously, it's a game 7.
Yeah.
But you really can't tell what team. Like you can see it in the OKC Dallas matchup. Dallas kind of has a grasp. Even if the Knicks lose tonight, you feel like the Knicks have a good control of that series.
No, well, if Knicks lose game 6, they're not winning.
Game 7 in New York, Indiana.
Yeah. I think it'll just be if Indiana wins game 6, I think Indiana takes it.
Really? I still think
because
it's the Knicks.
The injuries do pile up. And I think the Knicks can take care of business in game 6, but something tells me that Indiana is going to win this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, save it. Save it for our prediction segment. We got that coming up. All right, let's talk some Major League Baseball, Ron. And we got Juan Soto. Is it a wise move for the New York Yankees to look at signing him now?
Well, yeah.
So there was a lot of talk he was going to allow himself to go to free agency. New York normally doesn't talk about redoing or re-upping contracts during the season. But a lot's different. Soto stated now that he'd be willing to talk to the Yankees about signing a long-term deal now.
Yeah.
If both sides could agree. Scott Boras, though, his agent, we know how I feel about him.
Yeah, he's not good.
Those Nova boys, Kenny. Yeah, in New York, the Nova boys. Yeah, Villanova, that squad in New York is crazy.
Yeah, he's saying this now because now all of a sudden they're in first place, right?
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time to sign him now before this team goes further and gets into the playoffs and Juan Soto becomes his price tag keeps going up.
Yeah.
That's my fear.
Yeah. Look, if you want a bargain, sign him now because by the end of the season, he's probably going to get at least another 5-10 more million.
Yeah, he's batting .302, which is currently in the top 20 in batting average.
The only thing he doesn't lead is freaking
top 10 in hits. Top 10 in hits, 50. He's got 9 home runs though, Ron. He's
I know.
Like 4 off the leader there, and he's tied for 5th in RBIs.
Yep.
Like the man gets on base. You're currently 30-15 as a team. Yeah. The New York Yankees to sit back and say, hey, we'll think about it. We just want the chemistry of the team. That's great. I understand what you try to do. He's a special player. And you're literally going to get into a point where if you sit back and you wait, his price tag just goes up. This team stays in first place. You're ahead of a very good Baltimore team. If you stay ahead, Garrett Cole coming back, DJ LeMahieu coming back, this team could only get better. You start to look at it and go, how much is this guy going to be worth?
I was telling you, Eric, at the beginning of the year, the Yankees are going to be a contender. You were saying no, they're going to be at the bottom with the Red Sox.
I didn't like their rotation.
No, but you know what?
But even that pitching,
stepped up.
Both teams, even the Red Sox, though, their pitching rotation's been very good this year, considering.
Yeah, they have a mash unit on the field.
And it's working, but sometimes those are the teams that do really well. And in the thing where you're saying, like with Soto, I start to look at it at 25 years old. We just saw Ohtani.
He's not even in his prime yet.
Yeah, 700 million. This guy could be $1 billion player.
Yeah, but do you want, as a franchise, do you want to spend what, $1.5 billion on two players?
You may have to.
I mean, I don't know.
What do you do though? If you're the Yankees, you let this guy walk, and they're in first place. They get to, let's just say they get to the World Series. His price tag then goes to $1 billion. Oh, too much. Well, you have a chance right now in May. Sign him to $800 million. Takes it off your books.
Would you say the Yankees offer him what they're giving Aaron Judge?
I think he's going to get more than Judge. I really do. And it's not that I don't think Aaron Judge or him are better. I just think this kid's special. He's 25. He plays the field very well. He's a very good hitter. And I think this is why they got him originally anyway, because they just figured he'd like the New York market and it benefits him.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult thing for even the Yankees to spend that kind of money on a second player. You know what I'm saying? Because then, where does the money go after that? I personally would rather spend the money on pitching, to be honest with you.
But again, to your point, we just said it. Pitching has been good enough to get them by because of what they got on the offensive side of the.
Yeah, I get it.
I just think they're going to set themselves up to fail if.
Yeah, I just feel like, you can have all this hitting, but when the playoff starts, I don't know, that hitting doesn't seem to always fire on all cylinders.
And I get what you're saying, but again, at 25, you probably get 10 years of production out of him.
Yeah.
It'll pay for itself. It's not like the guy's 30 and you sit back.
It won't pay for itself. The fans pay for it. Again, here we go again. This is the same cycle that MLB. This is baseball that has put salaries out of whack in every league. Baseball's the one that started it, and now it's just contagious. And fans at some point aren't going to be able to afford to go to the games. Most people can't now.
I don't know. If I'm New York, I'm talking to Scott Boras right now. Make this happen. Can't afford to wait.
They probably will.
Can't afford to wait. All right, Ron.
It's not there. He's going to LA Dodgers. So
that's my point. Like, you can't let it happen. All right, let's talk.
Nobody else is going to buy him. Nobody else.
Oh boy. Let's talk some split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically, we give each other two more likely scenarios, and we have to basically make a decision. You are first this week, Ron. So your number one split decision.
Oh. All right. Here we go. What did we just talk about? Baseball?
Baseball.
Okay. So, who will more likely lead the MLB in home runs this season?
I get this almost the same question. That's kind of funny, but go ahead.
Aaron Judge, who has 11. Shohei Ohtani, who has 12.
Yeah.
Or Kyle. I can't read my writing. Kyle Tucker. I almost forget who it was, too. Kyle Tucker with 13. Those are what their numbers are currently. Who is more likely to take the home run title?
I would say Judge, and I'm not being a homer, but he's done it.
Well, you are.
No, he's done it, though. He's 62 home runs. Like, he's done it. So I could see him doing it again. He could get 50 plus. I think Ohtani, as good as he still gets those little nagging injuries that seem to pop up and he misses some games. So I would go that route. And Tucker, I think it's a good start to the season. But I mean, you're talking about a guy that's done it consistently in Judge. So I would go Judge.
All right.
All right. So here we go. What's more likely? Shohei Ohtani finishes the season with 50 home runs. You already said he's got 12. Or Ellie De La Cruz finishes with 100 stolen bases. He's at 30 in 44 games.
Jesus.
Just had 4 stolen bases in the last game.
I think he gets 100.
Over Ohtani getting 50?
Yeah.
Right.
Basically for the same reason as you said. He could be out, like a week or two or something like that,
Yeah, and this kid's electric, this De La Cruz. They got to put a team around him.
And because it's so much easier now to steal.
Yeah, well, pizza boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this kid
so
though.
That kid's
good.
Not even fair.
That kid's fun though. He's fun. He's exciting. MLB, if they're smart, they start to kind of get this kid in front of the advertisement piece, like he's electric, that kid. All right, what do you got for number 2?
Woogie.
De La Cruz. What do you got? Number 2.
All right. Who will more likely have more total points in the NBA playoffs? More total points in the NBA playoffs. Jalen Brunson, the Joker, or Anthony Edwards?
So that's based on who continues on.
Maybe.
So obviously,
maybe not.
2 of those are going to be out. Well, one of them is going to be out for sure, right? Because they're playing each other. So that leaves Brunson versus the 2. And I would say that I feel like the Knicks are going on, and I feel like he is their team. He's going to score 35, 40 points. And Boston's going to make sure the series goes to 7 because they like to do that a lot. So I would go with Brunson.
Okay.
Because Joker, he gets the triple doubles, but it's not like a 30, 40 point. It's usually the 15 to 20 in the 10, 10. Anthony Edwards, I think to you, I agree. We'll do predictions, but I don't know if he's going to be around. We'll make that prediction happen. Ron, my second split decision. Is it more likely that Caitlin Clark will be a bust in the WNBA, an average player, or become a superstar? So first 2 games of her career, not going so well. Think the most turnovers ever by a rookie in their initial game in the WNBA. And then first time already single-digit scoring in her second game.
I think she'll be just fine. Look, yeah, I get the most turnovers as a rookie in their first game, but how many rookies played that much, right?
The kicker was, who was number 2 now all time? Cynthia Cooper, who we're trying to vote into our WNBA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But you didn't answer the question first. Before we put up the voting.
I think she'll still be a superstar.
Superstar. Not a bust, not an average player.
Nope.
Okay. So currently on our Sports Unfolded polls, you can vote for the next inductee into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And for the WNBA, we've got Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and Sue Bird. They are currently being nominated for the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So check out Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page and cast your vote. And in the NBA, we've got Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Oscar Robinson, and Kobe Bryant. Charles Barkley leading in that one. Vote Sports Unfolded Sports poll page. We are going to post it on Rhode Island Broadcasting today as well, so you can vote on your Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And this is our current inductees into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. One big one there, right, would be Pete Rose, right? Not in the MLB Hall of Fame, but guess what? The fans have voted him in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. That's a pretty big one there. So
fans got it wrong.
Tatum, dada. You want that? I don't know what Kenny's talking about. All right, Ron. So help us vote Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And you can check it out on the Sports Unfolded website with all the nominees as well. All the inductees, not nominees. Ron, let's talk some playoff hockey. Kind of excited about, what a series we've had going on. What a comeback last night by the Rangers, huh?
Yeah.
I had Mickey, who's our baseball guy, but he's a big New York fan. He texted me in the second period and basically said the Rangers are going to choke and blow this whole series.
I have a little L there.
And it kind of came back. They kind of came back. A little L.
A little L in NHL.
Oh, look at that. It's NH1, it looks like. But Ron, so of the remaining series, what intrigues you most about all of them? The Bruins are playing 7:00 tonight?
Yes.
Against Florida. So that game's about to drop the puck in that one.
Yeah.
So
I tried to tell them not to put it on too early on Friday.
8:00. Yeah, to give you an opportunity to finish up this amazing sports podcast.
First of all,
best sports podcast on the planet.
A little pissed off about the refereeing in that series. I'm sorry. It's
just a little
egregious. Egregious. It's awful.
I want to agree with you, and I don't.
I know you don't.
No, it's not. I see some of what you're saying, but I also feel like you have seen this team in Boston struggle offensively.
Oh,
and
I'm not saying that they'd be winning the series. I'm not saying that.
And that's where
they don't need any extra help from the refs.
I get that part, but listen to me.
They cost them that game.
Pasternak's over 100 points in the regular season. Does not look like the same player.
He hasn't done enough. No.
Charlie McAvoy has not done enough in this series.
No.
And it was funny because they talked about, was it game 5? They were going to hit, right? Because that was the one, game 4 is where Marchand got hurt. And they're like, we're going to hit people. And he had one big hit, McAvoy. And then that was it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Look, there's a lot of criticism to go around because Charlie Coyle hasn't played well. Zaka hasn't played well. The guy that was playing the best offensively is sitting the last 2 games. Hopefully he plays this game. But Marchand was so important, and they took him out. All right. Now.
And he's questionable for tonight.
Right. Now, the refereeing, it isn't the point of calling penalties. It's when they're doing it, and some of those, when they do it, it's really bad and either not a penalty at all or it just changes the momentum. Yeah. Soon as the Bruins get the momentum, they call a penalty on them, whether it's warranted or not, and it takes the Bruins out of the game. And when you look at those penalties, the total penalties in this series, it is brutal. Brutal.
But I will say this too, Ron. Like, you remember we were talking about the Rangers. I was watching one of the Rangers games, and I'm like, their power play is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I looked at the Bruins, and every time they're on a power play, I don't feel like the same intensity.
No.
They're not clean. The passes aren't right. They're putting it back into the neutral zone and having a reset. And I'm sitting back and going,
sometimes it's just better to be simple. Like, do what works, right? You do what works.
Yeah. So, and then you got to look at, listen, if it wasn't for Swayman, I think they would have got swept.
Oh, absolutely.
because Swayman, and then we talked about it after game 5. Like, holy cow! Thank that save at the end.
Did you see what his save percentage in the series is? It is 966.
Which is ridiculous.
It's insane.
They're
And
not
you're
playing well in
losing
front of
3
him.
games
Yeah.
to 2.
They're not playing well in front of him. So defensively,
No.
right? They're allowing way too many shots. We talked about the shot differential.
Yep.
Power plays they're not doing well on. And then even in just 5-on-5, I don't feel like their hockey is very sloppy.
Yeah, and again, like it's the simple things. Like, you keep the power play simple. Before, it would just be, you pass from the side across to the defense, and then you pass it over to Pasta, and he lets it rip on a one-timer. They haven't done that. Why? Well, they want to be multi-dimensional on the power play all of a sudden, rather than just having the same guy keep ripping the puck. Well, rip it.
Yeah.
They're not taking the shots. They're not doing a lot of those little things. When they come out of the end, they're not even looking to where they're passing to, and they're coughing the puck up in their own end time after time after time.
And
And this
Bobrovsky is not a goaltender that is going to shut you down. Like, he gives up a lot of rebounds.
No, he's been the worst goaltender in the playoffs.
And that's what I'm saying. To your point, shoot the puck at the net, and hopefully you get a bounce, and now you're going to capitalize. There's been points and times where they're trying to make that extra cute pass. They're trying to get it over to somebody. Take the shot, let the rebound come, and now you follow it up.
Playoffs, you can't be cute.
And that's why I think it's hurting the Bruins. Hopefully tonight they figure it out and get to a game 7.
And like I said, the timely penalties that are changing the game, and that cross check on Coyle to fall into Swayman, that cost them the game, and that should not have counted.
Agreed.
Strikes should not be dictating who wins the game.
But game 5, when Florida challenged. Game 5 when Florida challenged, and I know how big of a Bruins fan. Like, I'm watching the games, and I'm not. But I'll be honest, I love hockey. I really do, especially playoff hockey. But you are a hockey guy, and all I thought about when Florida challenged, I said, if they overturn this,
oh my god,
and call it back,
lost it.
I said, Ron,
I would have heard before they even went to it.
Yeah, I would have literally said, I could hear Ron, I could see it now. Man arrested for throwing TV through window and killing somebody, because it would have just been like, holy cow, he would have lost it.
Oh my god, I was losing it before they came with the decision.
Yeah.
But that's it's going to be a great game tonight.
So
they've all been great games.
Yeah, 2 left in the Western Conference, and I want to talk a little bit about the Dallas series. And we talked about Colorado and their offensive firepower, but we said which one would win.
Yeah.
Ottinger in the goaltending, right? And you think about it, 3 or fewer goals in 4 out of the 5 games Dallas has held Colorado, and Dallas has that lead. Does Dallas finish this series off, Ron? Because if you look at it, and we're going to do our predictions after, can they continue to hold that firepower back from Colorado?
Yeah, I think they can. Look, a goaltender can change everything, and it should be like that in the Florida Bruins series, but it's not. But it's making a difference in that series. And Ottinger is just good. He's good. And the team is just doing enough. Their top defenseman, I can't even think of his name right now, Heiskanen. It's like a -6. Their top defenseman, right? A -6. How are they winning? Well, it's because Ottinger's keeping the puck out of the net.
Yeah.
They're doing just enough. Nobody's wowing anybody on offense on Dallas, but they're doing what they need to do. And they're controlling. Look, they're giving it up to Makar and McKinnon and Rantanen, but then that's it. That's it. The rest of the team, they're shutting down. And, we always say role players mean a lot in the playoffs. And you're seeing that with those guys on the 3rd and 4th line that are controlling the rest of the team.
And it took an overtime win, 4-3, in game 5 to even get to game 6. So it's not like Colorado's dominated any game in this series.
No.
They're clawing and they're fighting. Dallas seems like the superior team, but we'll find out. That game's tonight as well.
Yeah, if any of those guys wake up on offense, like Robertson and stuff like that, Colorado's going to be in trouble. They got to keep them quiet.
And then the battle for Canada, Edmonton, right? And can I say this, Ron? You're a hockey guy. I'm not as big a hockey guy, but I feel like Connor McDavid's like the LeBron James now of the NHL. Because there's so much talent, and every year you're like, oh, they should be, right? LeBron went to how many straight finals? This guy can't even get into the finals.
No.
Maybe he's more of a Peyton Manning, regular season, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? One of the top point guys. And I got tired of what I'm hearing because a lot of guys are like, oh, he's better than Gretzky. He's right, more talented than. No. You know what? Regardless, Gretzky got there.
He might be the best player in the league today. But
he is not. He should not be in that class. First of all, he hasn't gotten there, and this isn't a shot at Edmonton and what they listen. I hate when comparisons go into a realm that makes no sense to me. When you're going to sit back and tell me that a guy that's had 5 points in 5 games in this series, and one of the games was game 2 where he got 4 points. So you do the math after that. Right. There's been 3 games where he's got 0 points.
Yeah, he's done. He does.
How's he better than Gretzky?
Yeah, no, Gretzky did it every game.
Like, stop doing that.
He's not better than Gretzky. Sorry, nobody's better than Gretzky.
Michael Jordan got to 6 finals, won all 6. LeBron James been to 10, he's won 4. You do the math. Like, stop comparing these guys to greats, and then they don't perform in the biggest stages.
Right.
I don't care about regular season. Regular season means nothing.
That's just it. Like, how many times have we had this conversation about Edmonton, right? Get a goaltender. They've already had their backup in because Skinner's not good enough. Their goaltending stinks. And they need a goaltender for them to do anything because I'm still not forgetting the fact that it's the West.
This is how the West is won, my friend.
You know, like you have Colorado, you have Dallas, you have Vancouver. That's what you got. I'm sorry. It's a lot easier for them to get to the Stanley Cup than it is for a team like the Rangers to get to the Stanley Cup.
Colorado, McKinnon, right? Very good player.
Excellent player.
But would you not say if you put the 4 teams in a box and said who had the best player? But I'm not talking playoffs, just in general. If you said who has the best player, you'd probably say Edmonton and Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
And yet he's not performing at all.
No.
Like he's doing absolutely nothing.
No.
And if they're gonna even come out of this series, which it's not looking very good, because Vancouver's a very good team. And you told us that from the beginning, months ago. That Vancouver, very good team. They were number 1 on the NHL rankings for quite some time. And you're seeing it now.
I think top 3 pretty much the whole season.
Yeah. So I'd like to see if McDavid can wake up at all in the next game, because otherwise I think this series is over as well.
Yeah, when you have really 4 guys that are driving that team, you know, with Draisaitl and Hyman and Edmondson, who has risen in the ranks on defense. But other than that, look, like you have some good hockey players there, and some of them just aren't doing enough, you know, and they just can't do it with the goaltending they have. They can't. Like, look, Florida shouldn't even be still there. With an .897 save percentage, you should be out of the playoffs.
The problem is he's not facing enough shots.
No, he's not.
You put up more shots in the Florida series, guess what? You win that series.
Expect Vancouver to win the next game.
It's your prediction already? You're calling it?
You know, I mean, they're just a better all-around team.
They are. They're very good.
Better goaltending, even from their third goaltender.
Yeah, which is insane. NHL playoffs, though, I have to say, by far, is some of the best hockey. Like, if you're going to watch, if you're not sure about hockey, watch the games now.
Yeah.
Because then you'll become a fan. Like, you'll really start to be like, holy cow. I was sitting there watching the Bruins game the other night, and I'm a diehard Patriot fan. We all know this, right? And I'll jump, cheer, scream, whatever. I was screaming at the TV. Like, every time Boston scored, I was jumping. Because you understand just the gravity of it now. and so much fun in the NHL. But Ron, great NHL discussion. Loving it. If you're joining us live, hey, join in the chat. Who do you think is underperforming or overachieving here in the NHL playoffs? Let us know what you think. If you're listening to us on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, hey, join the show every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let us know. We love to chat with the fans. Kenny's been great joining us live tonight. I don't know. He said Jason Tatum superstar. I don't know what games he's watching.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a little. I don't know, Kenny. Ron, it is pick and roll time.
It's time for Kenny to say pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
So our pick and roll segment tonight. All these players have played 20 years in the NBA. Some will play more than that because one of them's still active. But I will say this, Ron. Some decent players here. Some decent players. And those players are Kevin Willis, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, and Jamal Crawford. We are going to rank them from 5 to 1. You are first this week with the pick and roll, my friend. This is episode 20, hence 20 years in the NBA. See how we do this? We're not just pretty faces. We actually have, there's a little something up there. Don't ever do that again. Ron, you are first this week, my friend. Please let me know what your picks are, and you got to roll with them.
All right. I have at number 5, Jamal Crawford, 146 points. Yeah, okay. 14.
Holy cow.
14,
that has to be a record.
Yeah, it would have to be. 14.6 points per game, 2.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists. Didn't have any accolades whatsoever. So it was clear to me he was at the bottom.
Do you remember Jamal Crawford at all?
Yes, I do.
All right. You remember Vinnie Johnson, the microwave back in the day with the Detroit Pistons? Like he would just come in and all of a sudden the guy could score 15, 20 points.
Yeah.
That was Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised the guy never made an all-star, and it was really surprising to me.
Yeah, he did win three
six man of the year, but
right,
But it was weird. I was like, never once an all-star. Like there were games he'd take over, but anyway, Jamal Crawford,
a good player. I'm just surprised that he never blossomed into something better.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have Kevin Willis. Got some good numbers, 12.1 points per game, 8.4 rebounds. He had an all-star. He's won an NBA championship and then one All-NBA. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I had to confirm that championship, and it was with the Spurs, so with the Duncan Robinson era, that type.
Yeah. So he was a big part of that, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
So Kevin Willis, I put him at number 4.
There, my friend. No curtails there.
Yeah, he was number 4. Those were easy.
Yeah.
The next 2 were a little bit more difficult.
A
little bit. And I still don't even know 2 and 3.
I struggled with 2 and 3 because 5 and 4 we had the same.
Yeah. So, I went Kobe Bryant number 3. And I don't even know why. I think that shooting percentage played a big part of it. Believe it or not, the shooting percentage, right?
Look at
44.7 for
deep.
Kobe. 25 points a game, 5.2 boards, 4.7 assists, just not as high as the other guy. Same thing with that shooting percent. 18 All-Stars, a little lower. 5 NBA championships, 1 higher than the other guy. 15 All-NBAs was 4 less. But 2 scoring titles. That 12 All-Defensive, though, is
pretty sweet.
Pretty big number. 1 MVP as opposed to 4. And 2 Finals MVPs as opposed to 4. So just a little lower. I wanted to put him. I actually had him at number 2, and then I wrote over it with the 3. And I settled Kobe Bryant number 3, and I put LeBron at number 2 with his 27.1, 7.5, 7.4, all better than Kobe's. 50.6 field goal percentage, way better than Kobe's. I always felt Kobe was a little bit of a chucker.
Oh yeah, he throw it
Just
up.
saying. 20 All-Stars, 19 All-NBA, 4 championships, 6 All-Defensive. So he had 6 less than Kobe, but it wasn't enough to offset all the other numbers for me. So yeah, 4 Finals MVP. So I put, of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number 1 with all those crazy, crazy numbers. I mean, he averaged a double-double. So right out of the gate, when you're talking about that, so that was a big advantage for him. His shooting percentage was better than the other 2. And, 15 All-NBA, 19 All-Stars, 6 NBA championships, 11 All-Defensive. I mean, 6 MVPs, 4 block titles, a rebounds title, 2 Finals MVPs. The numbers are just crazy, crazy good. So Kareem was my number 1.
I like it. So I will tell you this, my friend. Very good. Very good. You got it correct.
Or you got it correct.
No, you got my. So you. Jamal Crawford at 5. Like we said, we talked about it, though. I was kind of surprised. No All-Stars at all. That one bothered me because I'm like, the guy's an All-Star.
Yeah, he was a better player than what you see on those numbers.
Yeah. And then Kevin Willis agreed. The one championship kind of,
Yeah, that didn't factor into anything.
It's like Steve Young with his 3. He only really won 1.
Yeah, really.
Because he had some guy named Montana in front of him that he was part of.
It's like Drew Bledsoe has 1.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this. Kobe, I went at 3, but I agree with you. You know what bothered me about Kobe? 1 MVP.
Yeah.
I'm a Celtic fan. You're a Celtic fan. We're a Celtic fans, right? There's that.
That was a big difference.
Yeah. You talked about this before with like Derek Jeter. You're a Red Sox fan, but there was a respect for Derek Jeter and what he did. And I respect Kobe. I really thought he was.
Derek Jeter's the best shortstop ever.
Yeah. And it was like, I thought Kobe was like, if I was going to go Jordan in proximity, I would say Kobe, just because of the attitude and the mentality. And to have 1 MVP for Kobe Bryant, I think was disgraceful by the NBA. Like, how does that happen? That man was, he was just an animal. But anyway, and then as much as it pained us, LeBron at 2. And again, but then there's a guy at 4 MVPs. Like, huh? Like Kobe won 4. Like, I don't even understand how that happens. And then Kobe all defensive 12 versus 6. Like, it just goes to show. And if you think about it now, LeBron barely even, I don't even think he knows what the word defense means.
Yeah, and that it was actually surprising to see he had 6.
Yeah, but that was early. Those were the early, probably Miami Heat days when he actually, still cared about basketball and not making movies. Space Jam 2, whatever he's going to do next. Space Jam 3.5. I don't know. They'll make another Space Jam.
And I thought what was going to happen, I thought that one award that Kobe Bryant won, I thought that would have put him over the top, but it did not. He won an Oscar.
He won an Oscar, but then you got to go the in-season tournament MVP for LeBron James. So is that a wash?
Yeah, it kind of washes. So, it was painful putting LeBron ahead of him, but it was the right call.
Yeah, and then I agree with you.
Doesn't put him on Mount Rushmore, though.
No. And then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I agree with you. 24.4, 11.2 rebounds, so a double-double. He averaged 19 assists,
and
19 All-Stars.
I'll go as far as this, Eric. I couldn't decide who my other guy was on the Mount Rushmore. I had Jordan, Bird, and Magic, right? I'm looking at it, and it's Kareem. Because we've had Kareem on several different lists, and he always comes out on top, no matter who he's going up against. So let's go. There
Yeah,
he
right,
is.
Kareem. 11
My
all
number 4.
defensive, right? And you don't think of Kareem, you think of the sky hook. You don't think all defensive. 11.
Yeah,
Pretty
a
impressive.
lot.
6 MVPs.
Yeah, that's
Right?
something.
That was pretty impressive as well.
And the
6 championships.
championships. So that's what sets him aside from like Wilt Chamberlain, right? Those championships.
Yeah.
And he's just a better pure scorer than, say, a Bill Russell. So
Yeah. No, agreed. And great list, great players though. You got to admit, even Kevin Willis, like he was a good role player guy. Jamal Crawford, so a lot of good players there. But Ron, we are on to some predictions. But before we get into our predictions, you want to tell everybody out there how they can get sponsored and get their name on our show there. So we got the pick and roll banner going, and it says sponsored by. How can people get their name on our banner?
all they have to do really is send an email to this right here, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information. But Eric, like I say all the time, it costs less than going to your local coffee shop and getting a large coffee and a coffee cake. You know the little coffee cakes that you get? Cost less than those. And you should do this now, because once the ratings come out in August for the radio, you ain't going to be able to do that, unless you're already instilled into our, sponsorships. So get on it now, and you can have your banner up there and have your banner there. We will read off the ad that you want us to read off, like any other sponsor, and we can have that on our podcast, whether it's audio or video. So get on it now.
Hundreds of thousands of eyes on you. We are expanding every single day.
Yep.
We are continuing to grow. Check out Rhode Island Broadcasting as well. Some great programs on there. A lot, not just sports. Got movies, music, wrestling. If you like wrestling, a couple of wrestling shows. A lot going on. Physics.
Metaphysics.
Metaphysics.
Paranormal. We got everything. Animation.
A little bit of everything. Check it out. Rhode Island Broadcasting. A lot of great shows there. Check out Sports Unfolded as well, the website. We have the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame that is currently active, and you want to vote, you can vote as well. We've got the WNBA nominees, which are Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and Sue Bird. So some great players. Help get one of them into our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And then on the NBA side, you got Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Oscar Robertson, and Kobe Bryant, who we just talked about. Again, get one of them elected into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Get
at
them
least
on
3 of
our
them
website.
belong in there.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Wait till you see the next one for baseball, Ron. Holy cow. Just wait. So this poll will be running for the rest of the month of May, and then we will start a new one in June. So can't wait. Just get those votes up. It'll be on the Rhode Island Broadcasting, and then you can check out the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page and vote there as well. Ron, it is prediction time. And our predictions, what a great week again. I continue to dominate right now. And I don't want to curse myself, but it's been some good weeks. 6-3 for you was pretty good, but
you know what I didn't do?
The predictions. So we were 7-2 last week for me. 61% on the season.
I totally skipped it on my notes.
54. Wow. I mean, I mean, we just added it. We haven't done it for 4 years. So
yeah, I know.
It makes sense. A lot of great action though going on. Kenny, you better be on tonight because I know you've been ducking us for a while. Let's get those predictions in. If you're joining us live, Give us your picks. Get your name on our Sports Unfolded chart that would have been on, but my producer seemed to forget that we have a segment called Predictions. I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Who's
I
that
have
guy?
no idea what happened.
All right. So, Ron, you are first. We will kick it off some NBA playoff action. Tonight, you got the New York Knicks at the Indiana Pacers. Game 6. The Knicks lead the series 3-2.
Yeah, I'm going to take Indiana in this one.
I went Indiana as well. I think at home, I think they can put up some points. I think the Knicks are going to take it easy. I know this sounds crazy, but I feel like they're going to take it easy because of the injuries and then go into Game 7 at home. It could come back to bite them. To your point, it could come back to bite them, but I don't know if they're going to go as hard tonight. Tomorrow, Game 6, Oklahoma City Thunder at the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas leads that series 3-2. Ron, Dallas closes it out tomorrow night at home.
I agree, Eric. I think they get it done. And, when games like this happen, good players tend to get it done, especially when they're hungry. Luka's very hungry. He needs to get.
I mean, he put on a little weight, Ron. You don't need to. I got you. Go ahead, buddy.
He's definitely wants to win a championship, so he is going to have an all-out effort tonight. And you watch this
tomorrow night,
or tomorrow, whatever it is.
And I will say that. Listen, the other night I was watching the game and he blocked SGA on a layup attempt. You see the fight. You see him on the ground. He's he's getting beat up. I'm finally seeing some, excitement and some enthusiasm, right, from Luka. I like it. I like what I'm seeing, and that's a good sign if Dallas possibly could get to the finals.
Absolutely.
Sunday, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Denver Nuggets. That is Game 7, Ron. The series obviously tied 3-3. Who moves on to the Western Conference Finals?
I'm going to say it's Denver, but that is not a very strong opinion because this could go either way. I wouldn't even be surprised if it goes into overtime.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Nobody's really taking control. Like, as soon as you think they do, the other team comes back. But I agree with you. I think getting embarrassed by 45. I think Denver at home.
Yeah.
Because we're still the champions. We still got to run in us. Jamal Murray, though, injury, he got hurt in the last game again. So let's see. But I think Joker does enough to win that game, win this series, and move on.
Yeah, he has to come up huge. And he generally does when needed.
Yeah, and again, Minnesota hasn't been here. So as great as they've been, we're talking about a team that this is a big step to get to the Western Conference Finals. So let's see. Denver's been there. NHL playoffs, Ron. You got the Dallas Stars at the Colorado Avalanche. That's Game 6. Dallas leads that series 3-2. That is tonight. I went Dallas. I think Dallas closes this out. I think they figured a way. Oh, Kenny went next. I think he's a little delayed. All right, that makes sense.
That he's a little delayed?
Just a little bit. Kenny went next.
Yeah, what do you got in
Dallas at Colorado? Game 6.
Well, he still hasn't done OKC and Dallas.
Yeah, I think he's delayed. So we got to just keep going, and I think he'll catch up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, unless you want dead silence, which I'm sure the wonderful people out there at WDJY would not want while they're listening to that car radio.
No,
there's the Mavs. See, Kenny, he's there. He's coming along. He's
all right.
there.
So Vancouver and
Dallas at Colorado. I picked Dallas. I'm going Dallas.
I picked Dallas too as well.
Dallas 3-2 lead. I think they finish off that series. 5:18. So tomorrow you got the Vancouver Canucks at the Edmonton Oilers. Game 6. Vancouver up 3-2.
Yeah, I'm going to take Vancouver in this one. I think they get it done as well.
Yeah, Peyton Manning on Edmonton, great regular season, but unfortunately, I believe to your point, Vancouver. I think he hasn't done enough, in my eyes, McDavid, to warrant that the Oilers can pull this off and force a game 7. So I went Vancouver as well. And Kenny fell asleep. We got some baseball action starting on Monday. The Texas Rangers at the Philadelphia Phillies. That's a 3-game series. Texas in second place, Philadelphia in first. Currently number 1 on the Sports Unfolded Major League Baseball rankings for this week. So check that out on Sports Unfolded as well. Who do you got, Ron?
Oh, it's my turn?
I think so. Kenny went Timberwolves.
I'm going Philadelphia. They're number 1 on our poll, on our power rankings for a reason.
You're playing very good baseball.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The Phillies just right now look like the most dominant team.
Yeah,
honestly,
Texas isn't good enough right now.
Yeah, just hasn't performed. Has not performed. What about some WNBA action on 5/18? You got the Los Angeles Sparks at the Las Vegas Aces. Aces, obviously 2-time defending champions, looked great in their season opener. And I'm going with the Vegas Aces. I mean, I love that team. I really do.
Yeah, I went with Vegas as well. Until somebody can knock them off, I can't see myself
Becky Hammond.
going against them.
Did you see Kelsey Plum? They're getting a divorce from Darren Waller. I don't even know where is he now? The Giants?
That's just it. That's why he's not relevant anymore.
But
so she had to kick him to the curb.
She's been posting some stuff. She looked pretty good. She looked pretty good. I mean, just saying.
I agree.
Check it out. Check it out. Ron, we've got some Major League Soccer. We talking some soccer, a lot going on in the soccer world. If you haven't had a chance, check out Just for Kicks on Sports Unfolded and Rhode Island Broadcasting. They break down a lot of the football world for us. And
that last episode, you're still not too late to see that, because that was a recap.
Yeah, and listen, a lot going on. Championships coming up, and they'll be back on to discuss that as well. But we're gonna talk some Major League Soccer, and that's Real Salt Lake at the Colorado Rapids. That's tomorrow. Who do you got, Ron?
Well, I always think that being real is probably the good thing to be. So I went with Salt Lake over Colorado.
Ron, we have a clean sweep tonight. I went Salt Lake as well. We agreed on every game.
Wait, did we?
Yes. Every single game.
Wow.
So it's going to be hard for you to eat into that lead if we agree. But listen, we picked these games before we even talk about it. And again, if you join us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you too can also get your name and see if you can beat us. Because right now we are on fire. And we don't pick these easy games. We don't try to take
none of them are easy.
Right? Obviously, especially with the playoffs going on as well. Kenny just picked the NBA. I guess he didn't want to do anything else. Either that or he's got a real big lag going on there. But again, you can have the opportunity to join us live. You can chat with us every single week, Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow us on all our social media platforms. That tick has been running on the bottom there to tell you we are on TikTok, MeWe, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Facebook. There is nothing we're not on right now. We are on Southeast, so SEC TV. And here he comes. I can't. This is really what a delay he's got going on there. But again, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We are live every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Rhode Island Broadcasting, on Sports Unfolded. Podcast, you can listen to us on Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. So many different ways to watch, listen to us. Ron, I know we've discussed it, but can you tell everybody out there, especially the people out in Dallas, Georgia, WDJY 99.1 FM. We are on there Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. how their business, if they're listening and they want their business broadcast on the radio, how they can do that and then get their name on our banners.
Yeah, well, first of all, with the radio station, just contact the radio station and say, hey, we want to sponsor this great sports show because we think it's the best ever, right?
It's the best sports podcast on the planet.
So WDJYFM.com, and you can get all the information to sponsor us on the radio. Now, all of you folks back here at home, please get on there, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information that you need to sponsor this show. We could always use it. Look, we can make sure that this show lasts forever, even beyond me.
I don't know if that's a chair beyond you or if that was a chair just to keep us going.
I hope it's, yeah, keep it going. I hope. So, look, Eric, I mean, we have a great show, and I think it would be awful if this show was not available anymore.
Yeah, so continue to help us. Sponsor, donate, bits, stars, buy me a coffee. I can't. This is so funny. But you have so many different ways you can like, share, sponsor our show. Continue. Hey, post it on any podcast sites that you may be following or joining. Show the people out there, subscribe to us on Twitch, on YouTube, to continue to get this great programming. We are the best sports podcast on the planet. I know, hands down. We're fan interactive. So again, if you want to
look, Eric, I'd like to get to a 1,000 views this week. 1,000 views. We get to 1,000 views, I'll have a giveaway for next week.
And I will say this, listen, if you want to talk sports, where else can you do that and have as much fun? You can chime in at any point in time and we will talk any sport that you want to talk about. A lot of great things going on out there. So much going on in the sports world that continues to happen every single day that we enjoy doing. So, check us out. Doesn't hurt. And then we have our voting going on right now, Ron, for the Sports Unfolded. This is hilarious. Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And right now we're trying to get our first inductee into the WNBA portion of our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. And that's the nominees: Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Sue Bird, all great players, phenomenal players. And our NBA, our next inductee, let's nominate and get one of these gentlemen in: Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Oscar Robinson, Kobe Bryant. Right now, I believe Charles Barkley is leading in that category, Cynthia Cooper in the WNBA. So a lot going on when it comes to the Sports Unfolded. Check out the Sports Unfolded website where we show you all of the nominees. Ron's going to put that picture up as well. These are the athletes that we currently have. 24 athletes in our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. A lot of greats, some of the best to ever do it. And we want to add names to that. So check us out and help us vote.
Absolutely.
Make sure your vote gets listened. Pete Rose, who should be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I know Ron feels differently. He's in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, and that's because the fans decide it. The fans get to pick it.
That's right.
So let's make sure that you get your vote. It all counts.
It's like my vote is for Oscar Robertson.
Phenomenal player, right?
Phenomenal player.
And Charles Barkley leading that right now.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's check those polls real quick while we're just to see. Is that who's leading currently in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame? Voting for the WNBA.
And just NBA. So you know, Salt Lake for Kenny.
I got it. Yep. Charles Barkley still leading in the NBA. And Cynthia Cooper, pretty good, solid lead right now in the WNBA voting. So a lot going on there as well. Ron, it is final thoughts time, and our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. You are first this week, so please tell the wonderful people out there your final thought.
My final thought is for officials in all these games that we're seeing that are getting, overlooked because of referees or umpires. It's happening in every sport. We had controversy in the NFL playoffs. We have controversies in the NBA and the NHL. Look, you are not what people go to see. People want to see their players play hard. Yes, we get that there are officials are needed to, keep control of the game. But we don't want you to change the outcomes of games. There's way too many things that have happened in all these leagues, and it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So I'm begging the leagues to really take hold of your officials and make sure they are following the rules just like the players are supposed to. Because when the officials are dictating the winners and losers, it's not a good thing. And fans don't want to see it at all.
No, I agree with you, Ron. Right? We don't pay to see a guy blow a whistle or throw a flag or call a penalty. So great point. And I will say this too, Ron. Like the NBA 2-minute report afterwards and kind of what they like that doesn't to me benefit. Like get it right during the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit you after the fact. But that was a great point. My final thought. Just want to congratulate Brazil. Brazil has got the bid to host the 2027 Women's World Cup.
Nice.
We've been talking a lot of soccer, a lot of football here on Sports Unfolded. We got some interviews coming up for Rhode Island Football Club
David
as
Bortz.
well. So David Bortz will be joining us the first Friday of June. Excited to have him join us. This will be his third appearance on our show, so we're excited from the support there. But you think about soccer and how much it's grown. Brazil's a great, football, soccer country. So that should be really exciting. And women's soccer is always so good.
Yeah, it is.
I'm excited to see that 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil. Congratulations to that country. And we look forward to seeing that.
We have a lot of viewers from Brazil. So, I mean, we do get a lot of those.
It's for me, Ron. They love me.
I'm sure.
It's the Portuguese,
sure. I'm Portuguese too.
I'm more Portuguese.
You're more Portuguese.
We're debating right now, ladies and gentlemen. Vote. Tell us
who's more Portuguese.
We got to have some fun here on Sports Unfolded. Listen, we've had a great show tonight. We've had Kenny join us live. We appreciate him joining in, and always appreciate the support. Our NBA guy. Check out Sports Unfolded, our NBA rankings playoff edition. And our NHL playoff editions. We've had a lot. We're going to discuss some more next week as we get into the Western, Eastern, and Western Conference Finals. So we're looking forward to that as well on both of these leagues. So much going on tonight as well. Bruins right now. Did you get the score already, Ron? Do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Yeah, what is it?
Nothing.
Okay.
Almost the end of the first. So again, that might be a tough game. In a tight game. So check out NHL playoffs. We talked about it. Phenomenal right now going on. A lot going on in the NBA this weekend as well. That could eventually, hey, and congrats to the Boston Celtics who are in 6 of the last 8 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Let's see if they could bring it home as well. But we are live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check us out on Rhode Island Broadcasting. And I can't with Kenny. He's got such a delight. It's awesome. But we will see you again next Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to watching you all come and join us live. Continue to like, share, follow our show, and thank you for the support in Dallas, Georgia, WDJY 99.1 FM as well. Check us out live Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. And all we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.